So you think you know your personality type. The biggest and best lies are the lies that seem like undeniable truth. Personality tests are notoriously poor predictors of behavior, says the New York Times, and here's why. When a personality test spews out your type, two classic phenomena are probably sending you down the wrong rabbit hole. 1. The Barnum Effect. 2. Confirmation bias. Basically, the profile you're given is too vague, but we see a tiny nugget of truth in it, so we believe it. That's the Barnum Effect. And then we buy into it, so that's literally all we can see from then on. The information that only confirms it, ignoring anything else that contradicts the belief. That's confirmation bias. And these tests are a scale. By definition, that's vague, as well as an admission of flaws. So isn't it at least worth double checking you got your personality type right? Knowing your correct personality type is the most important moment of your entire life, because you're answering the ultimate question: who am I and why am I here? So it's crucial to get it right and have a lot more detail. A human is more than a coded label and a vague paragraph. Here are the indisputable facts about Myers-Briggs. The Myers-Briggs test is an old tool in a new world. Myers and Briggs were 1940s housewives who were not psychologists but had read a book that coined the phrases introvert and extrovert. They invented a personality test at a time that favoured white-collar, white males and a fast-growing economy that badly needed a quick and convenient way to segregate types of people for the workforce. And it stuck. And nobody has dared challenge it because it was accepted as standard psychology ever since. So the Myers-Briggs test wasn't originally designed for personal development, and it certainly wasn't created at a time of equality. It was evidently designed more for employers. Sure, extroverts and introverts are real, but that's just too vague for personal use, and it can get badly muddled in a personality test for reasons I'll explain. And I personally know human resources managers and recruiters who have recently walked away from the antiquated, inaccurate, vague, and elitist personality tests that we accept as the standard. I took such a personality test as a young man, and it sent me in the completely wrong direction. I was a 737 airline captain, which was obviously a great career, but I walked away from it because eventually I realised it wasn't my true purpose in life. Years of hard effort and expense wasted. I'd sold everything I had, borrowed all I could, sacrificed years of my life, and all for the wrong reasons. And all because I was misguided by the standard personality tests that get it wrong. And without us knowing they're getting it wrong, because they spew out a nugget of truth about ourselves and so we buy into it, I would like to save you that trouble. The most important discovery of your life deserves better than the vague and often completely inaccurate personality tests we've come to accept as the standard. We're still using the same old tools. Here are 7 more reasons why you probably don't know your personality type, or at least not well enough to be able to make those all-important life choices for your professional and personal circumstances. 1. A-type personalities and other such overlays. And outliers. That completely throws out the whole introvert-extrovert argument. I know from long research that an extrovert or introvert can have an A-type personality, which misleads the personality test into thinking an introvert is an extrovert. The foundation of these tests is often extrovert-introvert binary choice, so this is a potentially faulty foundation. The tests are flawed simply because they're tests. They're asking questions, many of which are loaded and leading. Additionally, don't forget that the tests are a scale, and that is a definition alone of it being vague and flawed. 3. Life stages and present circumstances. Are you the same person as 10 or 20 years ago? Of course not. So the results of the test will also change. And if the whole point of a personality test is to find out who you truly are, the changeless you under the surface, your true nature, then these personality tests serve no purpose. 4. Surveys, tests and polls have a notorious and long history of being wrong, as we saw in the 2016 presidential election. People don't answer questions truthfully. They answer how they think they should answer. 5. The mood on the day the test was taken will obviously affect the results. Some days we feel more extroverted or introverted than others, or any other mood you care to mention. Humans are emotional creatures, and these emotions are in a constant state of change. 6. Culture, nationality, religious beliefs, upbringing. All these things, of course, have an influence on the test. But again, the whole point is to discover your true nature, not your nurture. An Enneagram isn't much better, by the way. Type 6 could be describing just about any Gen Xer. 7. Your ego or your false self is the one taking the test. And the whole point is to discover your true self. And this is the really big point. So let me explain further. Your personality is a cocktail of nature and nurture. Nature is genetic. It's who you truly are. It's in your subconscious. Nurture is ego. It's a false version of you. It's all the things that influenced you after birth, and that's your conscious mind, your conscious self. But because the ego consciousness is in the driving seat, the false version of you is taking the personality test. And that's great for employers, but it's no good for you when it comes to finding out your true purpose in life. The solution is obviously not a personality test then. So what is the solution? Well, if the false self ego is the problem, the solution is to sneak around it and then to corner it by presenting it with the true version of you, your nature and its fully formed glory. Detailed, accurate, undeniable, fast and simple. But I will warn you, the catch to this approach, obviously your ego won't like it. It will feel threatened. It wants to survive and suppress this true personality type within you. It may even experience shock in my experience. The true personality type in your subconscious, and your conscious mind tries to resist anything subconscious, as proved by Carl Jung. And this is why we tend to forget dreams almost immediately after we wake up. My solution that instantly and dramatically separates the false self from the true self was hard won over the last decade, and it is free to you. It's CPD certified, award-winning. Jack Canfield from the Secret documentary on Netflix called it groundbreaking. It's time for change. It's time for something new. And that change is what I call genotypes. You're about to discover your true personality type in 2 steps.